Hey y'all, welcome back to Twin Oaks Farm Poultry on YouTube. Thanks for joining me. I'm Melissa and we're at our little home place, Twin Oaks Family Farm in rural Southeast Ohio, USA. We're going to do a well check on our egg production hens. So this is kind of a companion video to the video that we took yesterday, which was January 15th, 2024, and we were talking about our egg production hens in cold weather. We're having a cold snap of winter weather that's about a week long, and kind of repeating the same cycle twice. So we saw, temperatures get cold around freezing, and then bring in some precipitation. So we had snow, and then the temperatures kind of continued to drop. So like last night, overnight, we had teens, but we got snow also. So my husband works road maintenance. He went in like at 4 a.m. and I came out to check on chickens at 4 a.m. because we're trying really hard to keep their water thawed and keep them hydrated and keep them going to their food. So those practices really help to keep the hens healthy and keep the egg production steady and consistent. So we got that snow overnight. In our general area, rural Southeast Ohio, it was probably a couple of inches, and then we had snow flurries through the day, and as the day went on, I'd say the temperature topped about 18 degrees probably, and expecting single digits tonight. So then after that, it's supposed to, like warm back up maybe to 30, and then start the cycle over again, like a little more precipitation the end of the week in the form of snow and really cold temperatures over the weekend. But looking forward to next week, hopefully some mild temperatures above freezing, which will be really nice. It'll bring the mud back, but we won't have to fight frozen water with livestock. So that's always a relief, because it really is tough to keep water thawed for them when temperatures are frigid. So in our video yesterday, we just shared with you the management practices that we're using this week to keep the hens routine kind of consistent and basically keep them as comfortable as we possibly can. And we've implemented some of those, so we'll just talk about that in this video today. And we'll also try to go around the corner of this little shed building. So this is a pen of about 34 chickens that are actively egg production flock for us. We have a little group of pullets that are probably going to be laying eggs maybe in 6 to 8 weeks from now. So hopefully we can take a look at them, because we're also trying to manage them for wellness. So we'll go on in here. It'll take me a moment to get my hands situated. My fingers are freezing. And it'll take this a moment to try to acclimate to the lighting in here. So it's almost dusk. It's about 5:30. We're gonna see dusk pretty soon here. But so a couple of the things we're doing I think are working out really, really well. Instead of, first thing with the feeder, instead of like just putting an overabundance of food in at one time and letting that last them several days, we're actually intentionally putting in like 2 smaller helpings of feed and rationing that for a morning feeding and an afternoon feeding. And actually just a small farm utility pail, smaller than a 5-gallon bucket, about half that size. That's what we're putting in here. A bucket full morning, a bucket full evening, and it's doing really well for them. So they're still eating on that, and I actually gave them feed at 4 a.m. this morning. So another thing that's along the lines of food, but it's kind of a supplement, and hopefully we can see this chicken here. She's standing on what we call a flock block. So that's like a supplement block, and it's kind of an enrichment because it's kind of a boredom buster for them. It's something they can kind of peck at and pick at. And for chickens, obviously pecking is a natural behavior that they need to exercise and utilize, and it makes them happy to do that. And so we did actually observe them yesterday sort of chasing each other and trying to peck at one another, because they're voluntarily choosing to stay in more. See, there's their chicken hatch door, and it's actually an opening that's open all the time and goes out to an enclosed chicken run, but they're choosing to stay in more. So they were getting kind of bored, so we opted to add a couple of flock blocks in here for them, and those are just, they're actually by Kalmbach Feed Company, Hen House Reserve flock blocks, and we just get them at the feed mill. And we told y'all we took out our big water and we're putting in the 1 gallon waters in their pen. It's a smaller quantity of water so they can drink it down faster, and it doesn't leave a big quantity of water getting frozen. And then we have more of these single waters that we're keeping inside our home to keep them where they're thawed out, like the trays in the reservoir. If one freezes while it's out here, we can take it in, let it thaw. And so then with those in the house that are thawed, we can replace these frequently. So these have been replaced about 3 times today. They are drinking them down, so they're staying hydrated, and we're keeping the water thawed so they can get to it. And we put a little bit of sawdust down on the floor, but we also added it here because there had been some water spillover. So we don't want, if that melts down at any time, we don't want their feet on that getting wet. We want to try to keep it absorbed. We don't want any of the hens getting frostbite from, getting some skin wet and then that freezing. We also did put down pine bedding shavings to give them a little bit more material on the floor to maybe nestle into and stay warm in. I don't think we can see in the nest boxes. We can a little, but we also added, it's going to be a little fuzzy because of the lighting, but we also added pine shavings back there. And we added the second heat lamp. They've been utilizing them both. Not everybody's a fan of heat lamps. Honestly, we're not a fan of heat lamps. We use them a lot. We're accustomed to them because of raising meat chickens and having to keep a very specific ambient condition around meat chickens. But we're not fans of heat lamps either. But they are an effective and efficient way to supplement some heat for a flock. So anyway, so these things are working, and just checking on them more and more frequently is really helping us the most. I'm going to try to turn the camera around, and we're going to try to go to the pullet pen. But those flock blocks really are a big help. It gives them something for a little bit of enrichment, and you can make some homemade enrichment opportunities for chickens, but the flock blocks are handy. Hey, so I can't tell what's on the screen, so hopefully the picture is clear. We'll vet it after we record, but we're going to go over to the pullet pen. And so as far as eggs, like I told you, we got 28 eggs. I'm just going to have to walk. I can't see what y'all are seeing on the screen, so my fingers are getting so cold. It's about 18 degrees right now. What was I even saying? My brain is even freezing, I think. But, oh, eggs. So, it may be dark. I'm not sure. We'll step inside here. We got 28 eggs so far today. Like I said, when I came out at 4, there was 3 eggs in the pen over there. And then I checked them again about 8 o'clock this morning, and we had 10 more eggs. And then we checked them again around lunchtime and had like a handful of eggs maybe. And then we checked them again mid-afternoon. And then we just checked them again right before we did the video. So we've ended up with 28. So now we're in this little pullet pen. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you these gals. So we also gave them a flock block. And we have 12 production red chickens in here. She's looking right at us. They're very inquisitive. They're very calm and docile, and we've had great feedback from actually viewers. In fact, Buck from Oklahoma mentioned that he thinks we're going to like these hens really, really well, and they're good hens. So I'm excited to be managing them and see how they do here. But we did put down bedding material just to give them a little bit of extra. We had turned on a second heat lamp in here. In here, we have a little bit warmer ambient temperature because there's the metal on the outside of the building, but there's also wood lining the inside of the building, and we don't have that on the other end of the shed with the egg production hens. So this ambient temperature stays a little warmer anyway. So actually these 2 heat lamps being on is keeping, sorry about that, keeping this side of the tray thawed out So they're able to get water from this large water, and it's keeping the tray thawed out and that water reservoir thawed out there. So we've got the single gallon water for them and the big water, we're leaving them both in here. We're also giving them a morning ration and evening ration and letting them eat it down in between. They've shown curiosity about the flock block, so I think they're gonna like that. We're down to about 20 seconds. And if y'all have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments, and we love to read your feedback. But the heat lamps, we just have to be careful with them. If you use them, monitor them, check them, make sure they're secure, and turn them off if you have any reservations about them. God bless y'all. Stay warm. See you next time.